Welcome back, everybody. My name's Dewpider54, aka Adam, coach in the Machese Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you my draft analysis for the PML Little Cup League. I helped the commissioner with the tiering and the rules on all of this. This is my second Little Cup draft. My first one did not go so hot in APA, so hopefully this one is a little bit better. This is hosted by Charizard King, aka Joe Samora. He's not partaking in the league this season, well, in this Little Cup draft, but he's just going to step back and commission and let everybody have fun. Let's see, the way we set it up is you get a tier 1 and one tier 1 only. You get 2 tier 2s, 2 tier 3s, a tier 4, and 4 free picks that could be used between tier 2 to 4. Even though some of the more less useful mons are in tier 4, there still was some beneficial mons there. So, without further ado, let me pop on into this. I was 5th overall pick. Wreck-It Mike was right before me at 4th. Then it was me. And then it was Absolute 76, aka TD0. Most of you know him as. Goal was to try not to snipe both of them. But at some point, there was no communication between any of us, and people just started wrecking each other's drafts. At least some of us did. I know I sniped a few people. But my main role in this draft was people were leaving picks with me, and a lot of people did. So I had to alter my draft plan because I have a standard to not take anything that is left with me. So I gave up like mons like Tortuga, Aeron, Abra, which was going to be my original first round pick, but Alice the Ferrothorn wanted that. I was not going to snipe them. Ghastly was hinted to me, but the person ended up leaving that with the commissioner, so I wasn't going to take that one either. So without further ado, round 1, I got the pretty pony, aka Buttercup. We have Buttercup for the female, Vanilla Bean for Vanilla Bean or Crackers for the male. Why? Cotton Candy for the male. This gets access to Past the Veil, Runaway, and Anticipation. The way Anticipation works is if it has a super effective move or a one-hit KO move, this allows me to know, which means I can freely pivot. Say a Sucker Punch comes in, since this is pure Psychic, I'll Shudder, that'll be revealed. Now I know I can't attack because I risk death. Gives me amazing info on my opponent. Knowing that Sucker Punch is there can be massive. This gets access to Agility, Body Slam, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Double Edge, Expanding Force, Facade. This gets access to Healing Wish, which is a free full heal sitting in the back for any of my Pokemon that switch in. This gets Morning Sun, High Horsepower, Iron Tail, Low Kick, Play Rough, Stored Power, Substitute, Wild Charge, Zen Headbutt. This gets Rest and Protect as well. But this also gets... I don't believe it gets screens. Oh, it does not get screens at all. This is weird to have a Psychic type with no screens. The only downfall to this mon is it does not get screens, and it does not get Sword Stance to be able to boost its attack. I believe its counterpart, Ponyta, gets Sword Stance, but I'm not 100% sure. But the fact that this has Wild Charge and Zen Headbutt and can be physical, it's kind of okay, because it's got 85 attack, which is roughly... Let me see what the max attack on that would be. 16 for attack is pretty good at level 5. And then you have... Sorry, it'd be 17. And then for special attack is... So you have attack and special attack the same. And then let me see what adamant would be with 252. Yeah, they're both at 17, which is absolutely good. Being able to have 17 in both your offenses with 19 speed as your max is incredibly good in Little Cup because speed is almost everything in this. So, yeah, that's, well, what I have here on my pace is Buttercup. That was my round 1. So this is interesting. And then we've got round 2. It came back to me. And why not get an even faster mon? I got ellakid, aka Baby Buzz. The fact that this hits 20 speed and its attack hits 17. But with the ability static, being able to poison, paralyze anything that makes contact with me is amazing. This gets access to Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Volt Switch. Gets access to Facade if I get static. Gets access to Brick Break to break screens. Gets access to Hammer Arm to greatly deal off a massive fighting hit. This even gets access to high seismic toss, quick attack to pick off priority. This also gets power up punch to boost my attack. This gets access to thunder wave, toxic. This gets access to light screen, but does not get access to reflect. This gets access to electro web, which can lower my opponent's speed. This even gets access to magnet rise to remove its only weakness of ground, which is absolutely amazing. This gets access to Rain Dance. I believe... Does it get access to Hail or Sunny Day? No, it does not. This gets access to Counter. This gets access to Zap Cannon, which is kind of cheeky if I can land one of those. But yeah... This gets Dynamic Punch, so I can run Blunder Policy and I can invest in all bulk, run Blunder Policy, miss, and now I'm smacking things even harder. Which is kind of cool. I'll see that tech. This even gets Curse Detect, so I can run Curse White Herb on this. Gain attack and defense, which is pretty good, and then gain the speed back. But yeah, overall, having 20 speed and being able to just punch things is absolutely amazing in Little Cup. And next, it came back to me again. I got Magby. Not the bulkiest thing in the world with 37 base defense and 55 base def, but that 83 speed, putting it at 19 is amazing. But what makes this mon so fun is it gets access to Belly Drum, gets access to Mach Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, access to Clear Smog to remove stats, access to Flare Blitz, Heat Wave, Lava Plume, gets access to Psychic. This also gets access to Focus Energy, Mega Punch, Mega Kick. Gets access to Power Swap to trade its setup with my opponent. This gets access to Fire Spin to trap my opponent. This gets access to Will-O-Wisp and Toxic, Will-O-Wisping a team that has hard-hitting attackers is really good, especially for the speed for this. This also gets Curse as well, so it can do the same thing that ellakid can do. Yeah, this thing's gonna be pretty good. That and this gets also to cross trap as well and body slam. So basically, this thing can cripple your opponent. This even gets access to power up punch too, which is really, really good. And is there anything else significant? Does this get flame charge? Yes, it does. It gets flame charge to boost its speed. That's going to be interesting. But without further ado, let's pop into round 4. Came back to me again. I got Dewpider. For those of you that don't know, there's 3 sticky web setters in the game. 4 if you count the banned one of Cutiefly. Cutiefly with Quiver Dance is just absolutely broken, and there's really no switching to it because none of the babies can take the hit. But Dewpider has sticky webs. This gets access to Blizzard, Bug Buzz, gets access to Giga Drain, Ice Beam, Infestation, Iron Defense, Liquidation, Leaf Life, Lunge, Poison Jab for fairies, gets Scald for a chance at burn, gets Toxic, gets Waterfall to attempt to flinch, gets Surf, gets access to Bug Bite to be able to steal their berries, gets access to Mirror Coat, gets access to Magic Room to turn off all items, gets access to Skitter Smack to lower special attack by 1. This even gets access to Stockpile, where I can boost my defenses 3 times. Plus leftovers recovery. This thing can just sit there. But the main thing this is for is sticky webs. Because if I can lower my opponent's speed, I don't have to heavy invest in the bulk of the other mons. So that is actually pretty good. This even gets access to Magic Coat to reflect hazards back at my opponent. But what makes this mon so good is it gets access to not only Water Absorb, but it gets access to Water Bubble. Doubles the power of water moves, can't be burned, and firepower against it is halved. So this in Sun just doesn't care. It's actually pretty good. Fire is neutral to it, and then it's also halved, so it might as well not be doing anything at all. It's basically like having a pure water, which is pretty good. This gets access to Crunch. This even gets access to Rain Dance, which is going to be very fun for my week 2, because I did make one trade prior to the recording to this, but I did not make it during Grace, so one of my mons on this draft analysis is still going to be here, and I'll go over that later. Round 5. I got Pumpkaboo, and Jesus, was this a hassle again. So, Phantom and Pumpkaboo are trade evos. So, if you don't, when you go to Gen, if you don't manually hit trade the name of the Pokemon and the gender, because you can't equip an Everstone on Sports and Showdown, it'll show up as no item. But if you put space and at Everstone, you can actually gen it with the item. So it won't evolve when it gets traded to you, which, oh my god, after genning 3 of these, I was pissed off. But Pumpkaboo has access to be small, extra small, large, and super, and then normal, I believe. You have regular Pumpkaboo, large, small, and super. But the way these work is small has the least amount of HP, but the highest attack and speed. Base Pumpkaboo has 5 more base HP, same attack, 5 less speed. Large has 10 more HP than small. Same attack as as the small one, and it is the fastest with 56 base speed. And then you have super, which is pure HP, same attack, extra bulky with the lowest speed. So depending on what the matchup takes, Pumpkaboo can just be very annoying. Alright, so Pumpkaboo gets access to Pickup, Frisk, and Insomnia. With Insomnia, it can't be put to sleep. And Frisk allows me to know what my opponent's item is. So if I can see a scarf in front of me, that is beautiful. If I see that they're Eviolite, that's beautiful. If I see their Lumberry, that's beautiful. This gets access to Curse, which has my attack and does 25% to them every turn, and it stays until they switch out. Dark Pulse, Destiny Bond, disable to take my opponent's move away. If they're Scarf, disable just completely nullifies them to where if they don't switch out, they struggle. This gets access to Explosion, Energy Ball, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Foul Play. Gets access to Gyro Ball for the super slow one. For if I have to encounter fairies. This gets access to Grass Knot to deal damage based off weight. This gets access to Light Screen. This gets access to Psychic, Rock Slide, Seed Bomb, Shadow Ball, Shadow Sneak. Gets access to Poltergeist to take advantage of its high attack. Gets Synthesis, Toxic, Trick, Trick Room, and Will-O-Wisp, which is really nice. Because if I'm able to take away an opposing Pokemon's Eviolite and then give it Eviolite to myself, that is amazing. That kind of cripples them. This gets access to Mystical Fire to lower special attack, which I could take advantage of. This gets access to Skill Swap and Scary Face. This gets access to Safeguard to make it to where I can't be statused. This gets Trick or Treat, which adds ghost typing to a mon it's clicked on, allowing Poltergeist to smack for super effective damage. So if they switch into this and I give Trick or Treat, well, now they're ghost type. Now I can just Poltergeist. Like, even if it's like a grass type in front of me, Poltergeist is now going to be super effective, which is amazing. This even gets access to Nature Power, which changes depending on the terrain, which is really good. This gets access to, I think that's about it. That was round number 5. Round 6 is where I started to get like really crazy. I got Diglett. I wanted a steel type. And it's a steel type that is kind of frail, but it also hits 19 speed, which is absolutely broken. This gets access to Sandvale, which is banned in this league. This gets access to Tangled Hair. If you make contact, it lowers their speed by 1. And this gets access to Sandforce. Rock, Steel, and Ground moves do 1.3 times damage, and Sandstorm and is immune to it. With this being Steel and Ground, that is a stab boost on top. The only thing that's going to be less hard hitting is the rock moves. But the fact that this thing's incredibly fast and it's able to manually set its own Sandstorm, it can take advantage of that and just start smacking things away. This gets access to Agility, Ancient Power, Body Slam, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Iron Defense, Memento for control. Gets access to Stealth Rocks, Shadow Claw. Gets access to Sucker Punch, Toxic. Gets access to Final Gambit. This gets access to Metal Claw with a 10% chance to boost my attack. This gets access to metal sound and screech to lower SPDF and defense by 2. This gets access to swagger, stomping tantrum. This gets access to work up to boost its own attack. This gets access to reversal. So if it's on 1 HP, it's doing a really large hit, especially in babies. That's a huge hit you don't want to take. So if this is Sash, Sand Force, for example, after setting Sandstorm, well, now I'm immune. The sand's breaking sashes for me, and then with my speed, I just start hitting things with reversal. They have to have a ghost type to be immune to it, a fellow fighting type, and a psychic type to resist that. But if they bring in the psychic type and it's slower, well, then I just pick this off with Earthquake or Iron Head. It's pretty decent mon. It's frail, but it's going to hit really, really hard. It's got 16 attack, which is still pretty good. And even being adamant, its max speed is still 18, which is on par with some of the top 10 fastest, which is amazing. Next, I got Stufful because Fluffy is life. This is my defensive wall because I hate people. This is gold dust. You can tell by the fur. This gets access to Fluffy, Klutz, and Cute Charm. If you make contact with me, 30% chance of infatuating them if they have the opposite gender. Klutz resists, ignores my item, which allows me to like trick a lagging tail on somebody. Wait, do I have switcheroo on this? Does this get switcheroo? No, but it gets fling. Oh, that's saddening. Okay, so I don't get switcheroo. I was gonna say I could give something to somebody. But this thing has base 75 attack, which is 18 at level 5, and it's got base 50 speed, which is still pretty good because this hits 15 speed. For a bulky tank, that's not bad. But this being normal fighting gives me a ghost immunity, a dark resist, resist to a lot of things, to be honest. This gets access to bulk up, brick break, earthquake, facade, focus punch, hammer arm, ice punch, iron head, pain split to be annoying. This gets access to roar to make my opponent, if they have to switch in response to this and hazards are up, I can just roar them out, spinning them into rocks, T-spikes, you name it, because it's negative priority, and I can bypass protect with this. This gets access to sword stance, rock slide, superpower, gets access to taunt, which can really catch my opponent off guard, toxic, zen headbutt, baby doll eyes to lower their attack to where when they go to swing in me, it's doing less damage. This gets Force Palm, which is 30% chance to paralyze the target. This gets Rock Tom to lower their speed by 1. Payback, which is double damage if it moves after the opponent. This gets access to Thrash, which is base 120, with but it locks me into it. This gets access to Workup. Yeah, this is gonna be a incredibly annoying mon. Even gets Aerial Ace to hit grass types. Alright. Next, we have, well, I had this in APA. This thing's fun. This thing forces people to prep. I don't know why a tier 4 forces people to prep. But this is Respect My. It's need to run male because it has the ability Hustle. This is attack is 1.5 and accuracy is 0.8 on everything. This even gets access to Poison Point. So I can run Rocky Helmet, Poison Point, and punish my opponent if I know they're going to try and hit me. And this can just be incredibly annoying. This gets access to Blizzard, Body Slam, Curse, Detect, Disable as well. Drill Run for fire types. Gets Head Smash for flying types. Gets Poison Jab for fairies and grass types. This gets access to Reflect, which is actually pretty cool because now I have Light Screen and Reflect on my team. Protect, Hone Claws to increase my accuracy, which kind of boosts the how well my hustle moves hit. This gets Super Bang, Thunderbolt, Toxic, T-Spikes. Unfortunately, until it evolves, it does not get Stealth Rocks, which is fine because T-Spikes kind of cripple. If they were legal, Horn Drill would be interesting on this. You got Focus Energy to make it everything crit. You got Mud Slap, Pack, Poison Sting, Poison Tail. We got Rain Dance on this thing. We got Sunny Day. This even gets Water Pulse, which is interesting. This gets Thrash, which is base 120, and with Hustle, it becomes 80%. That still hits very, very hard. This gets Beat Up for a multi-hit move. This gets Sucker Punch. Super Fang to lower their health by 50%, which can be very drastic on switching, because lowering it to 50 burns some mons that like to run Berry Juice, which is absolutely insane. Alright, and now meet Karen, the female Larvitar, because she likes to get angry a lot. This being 14 speed as its max speed is kind of doable, but where it sells is this having 17 attack maxed out, and then even if you switch it to max speed, that is still 16 attack. But this gets access to Guts. This being rock and ground, it's kind of interesting because with that Sandstorm I can set with the Diglett Alola, I can boost my Spadef on this because it's rock type. But what Guts does is it doubles my attack. So if I'm able to get off one Dragon Dance with this thing, I can just spam Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Facade. This will force my opponent to have like Bullet Punch, Aqua Jet, Mach Punch to kill me, which is pretty amazing. If I have to force my opponent to do priority, then they're in trouble. But this gets access to Brick Break, Crunch, Curse. It's access to Iron Defense to boost myself. So you can Dragon Dance, Iron Defense, and then just play it from there. Because this also gets the ability Sand Veil, which we can't run, so I'm locked into Guts. Access to Power Up Punch to boost my attack even further. Gets access to Smackdown, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Stealth Rocks, Taunt, Toxic. Gets access to Muddy Water to be annoying to my opponent with a chance to lower the accuracy, which is 30%. Gets access to Snarl, which is guaranteed special attack drop. Gets access to Scary Face, Screech. Torment keeps my opponent from using the same move over and over again, which can be drastic against Scarfers. Gets access to Bulldoze, which makes my opponent slower than me. I believe there was Rock Tom too. Yep, I get Rock Tom as well. So if I'm able to say Rock Tom, on the switch and lower their speed slower than me, have my flame orb activated, I can catch something off guard and just kill outright, which is pretty good. And then final pick of the draft, because I didn't know what to get, I got Elgium. I didn't realize until later that I already had a psychic type, which we'll go into what Elgium has. Analytic. It's incredibly slow, but it's kind of bulky, but it's got base 85 special attack, so that's like 19 at level 5. But the problem is this thing's going to be incredibly reliant on Trick Room, which gets it killed. Fortunately, Trick Room's not really the best in Little Cup because things are so small, so you just want speed tiers. But this gets access to Trick Room, Destiny Ball, and Psychic, Meteor Beam, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse. It's kind of interesting. Meteor Beam on it's pretty interesting because I can boost my special attack. It gets access to Calm Mind, Rest, Pain Split. But the problem is I would have to Trick Room and run very bulky and try and get a weakness policy off in order to be able to do anything with this. But it's just not going to take the hit. Even if I max HP it. It's just not bulky enough with base 55 defenses and 55 HP, so this thing is just not that good. So the trade I made was I picked up Swift Swim Psyduck, pure water type, so week 2 is going to have that, and it works out pretty good because a lot of my team gets access to Rain Dance to where I can manually set up the Psyduck to sweep, which is pretty good. But that's the draft analysis. I hope you like the team and enjoy. Peace.